I'll throw myself on this one for now. G'day, welcome. I'm not quite sure why my power went out. I am still trying to quickly fix some stuff. I wasn't expecting for my computer to just randomly shut off. So, yeah, this is gonna take me a second. Let's launch kerbalspaceprogram. Ow. Okay. Where's my earphones? Here they are. Ow. Ow. Okay, got my earphone. Where's my mouse? Where's my mouse? Here it is. And now I just got to go U. And now I go down here. I'm going to just enlarge it for you guys. There we go. And it's broken. Oh, wait, no, it's not broken. Just seems like it broke. Falling off Gilly. Okay, I'm gonna have to redo the audio. Game audio. There we go. Now, let's go start game. Training, because I've never played this game before. Basics. To the mum, from the mum, docking, asteroid, redirect. Okay, let's begin. Welcome to today's lecture on vessel construction. I'm Werner von Kerman. Whether you want to put a satellite into orbit, make a trans-continuous flight, or step onto the very surface of the mum, you're going to need to build yourself a ship. It should be pretty easy even if you're not a famous rocket scientist like myself. I really wish I could put it into damn full screen, but it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to, so yeah. In this tutorial, I will first show you around the Kerbal Space Center, then take you to the vehicle assembly building where you'll learn how to construct a simple ship. We'll cover adding and removing parts, what parts do, how to change the performance settings of the parts, which have the optimal, and how to control stages. At the end of the tutorial, you will have a craft fit for a quick hop from Launchpad. At each step, I will lock out all the controls other than the ones you need for the step. If you still manage to mess up, I took even me some time to become as skilled as I am now. You can press back button to go back and fix things. It won't light up unless you do mess up. We are now at the Kerbal Space Center. I'll give you a quick rundown on how to get around. The KSB for short is home to the pinnacle of Kerbal endeavor and achievement for space exploration. Using the facilities you can see here, you will be able to manage your space program, create rockets, and planes, track your kerbal explorers as they roam the solar system, find exciting new uses for explosive substances, and in case of emergencies, hire more kerbals. To find out about each of the facilities, you can hover your mouse over them on the facility button. They show up when the cursor is outside this window. If you need to repair a structure or upgrade them in the career, you can do this by right-clicking them. Take some time to hover the mouse over the buildings and see each when we're ready to build it. Okay. So that's the research and development. That's astronaut complex, administration, space place hangar, vehicle assembly, vehicle tracking. I wonder, can I click escape? No. Messages, alarm, pause menu, settings, custom audio, video graphics, half resolution. Is there a way to go full screen? UI. Restarting KSP is required to apply the effects in the UI scaling, okay. Kerbals. High texture, quality booster, video graphics, half resolution. Video graphics, voices. Well. Apparently it's just going to look like this, so on OBS, I will just try to... Not sure how well that's going to look, but meh. We've got vehicle assembly building. Now Kerbals. He just walked through him. Very good. What you see in the middle of your screen is the construction area. This is where parts are placed and your craft is constructed. On the left side of the screen is a part box. It will show all the parts you have available in each of the different categories. Try to pick letters. If you want to if your craft to be controllable, you need a command module, and it's best to make it the first part you place. This part will either contain some plucky Kerbal crew or an automated pilot mechanism. As we're just starting, there's only one choice. Go ahead and pick the command module from the pod tab. There we go. Can I like move around? WSD? Nope. Okay, so after the place you can look around. Arrow keys. Okay. Move the camera up and down, page up, or scroll wheel. Zoom in the camera keypad plus, keypad minus, or shift. Okay. Kerbal. If you'd like your pilot to be able to make more than one flight, he or she will have to return safely to the ground or water. On Kerbal, parachutes are a simple way to make sure that happens. They can be found on the utility tab. Change tabs by clicking that icon on the left of the part list window. Utility. When you're choosing parts, you can view the details of available parts by hovering over them in the toolbox. When the info is visible, most parts have an additional information window which can be opened with a right click. Note that the parachute states the effective diameter in each state and what the maximum safety speed of the deployment is. Go ahead and select the parachute by left clicking on it, move to the top of the module, sphere bottom. Okay. Next. Some parts like our parachute here have configurable options. To see, you need to right click on the parachute. We just attach to the pod. Do that now and you will see the available parameters. Oh wait, I can move the screen, neat. On the parachute we will see that we can adjust our altitude and atmospheric pressure at which to open. That setting can be quite useful on distant worlds. For now, let's change that the opening height on the chute is at least 100 meters. Yeah, it's already set to that. 1,000 meters. Because safety is the kerbal way after all. For the minimum pressure slider, move it a bit to the right to 0.2. The setting prevents the chute from activating until the atmospheric pressure is above the configurable value on kerbal. 0.2 is about 9 kilometers in altitude, so even if you stage early and arm the parachute, it will wait until then to activate. There we go. You can hide these options by right clicking on the background scenario or pick up another part when next. Werner von Kermel. So if my camera cannot see my mouth, it just assumes the PNG, it just makes the PNG's mouth stay open. Not always. Interesting. Next up, we are going to need something to make us go. Click on the engine tab on the left to show the available engines and select rocket motor. Grab one and connect it to the bottom of the pad. You will need to zoom or move the camera to be able to do so. Cargo, science, communications, electrical, ceremonial, ground, payload, coupling, robotics, structural, command and control, engines, fuel tank, pads, engine. There we go. Next. Oops, I forgot. You're just started out. You're not as famous rocket scientist and make the craft survivable as it stands. Now you'll have to be better at rocket science than me. Impossible. The problem with the craft is that this solid rocket is too powerful for the payload. A single small pad and chute, it will either burn up on ascent from going too fast or burn up coming back down. Even if you survive that, the craft's mass will cause it to fall too fast for the parachute to operate properly, and you'd hit the surface before it could stop you. Okay, I promise to teach you how to change that to make it work in a later tutorial, but for now, let's continue. Well, at least this way I get to tell you about removing parts. Pick up the back sumper and either drop it back over to the part tab or press delete. Instead, let's add the solid motor. That's a better match for a ship of this size. At the start of your career, you have what I consider rubbish parts. Literally, the motor here looks like and may well be a converted trash can. That said, it does have enough oomph to get this little craft moving skyward, and quickly as you progress, you will be able to unlock more engines and other parts. For now, though, let's pick up the R5 flea and connect it to the bottom of the pad. Let's go look around down here. Hell is he hammering? Where's he going? Okay, ran over a bunch of kerbals. Ran over more kerbals. And back up it goes. Neat. Okay, nice one. You'll build the simplest survivable craft possible. We can go launch this right now, but it might be safer to explain one other thing first. In the bottom right, you can see the staging stack. It's the box with the number 0, an icon from the parachute, an engine in it. This stack shows us which part will be activated as we stage our rocket. What this shows is that when we activate the next stage before the engine and the parachute will be triggered, while it could be considered funny to open the chute and fire the motor at the same time, it's not going to give you much of a flight. To fix this, we need to separate the engine and chute into two box stages. If you mouse over 0 stage, you will see a little plus and minus appear to the left of the box. Click the plus button. Click the plus button to add a new stage. If you add too many, click the minus. Select, remove it. Make sure to precisely 2 stages. Yep. Excellent. It's important to note that the stages active from the highest number then count down. So our first stage will be 1, the engine. Our second will be second one will be stage 0, the chute. Now drag the engine icon from stage 1 down to stage. Okay. That's it. We now have a safe, well, relatively safe craft that's ready to go. Let's make sure that if we need this design again, we don't have to build it all from scratch. At the top of the screen, you will see the name of our craft. This craft doesn't seem to be majestic. Why don't you change it to be something more your style? And you can add a description if you like. When you use the load screen later, these names description help you grab the right vessel. Excellent work. Feel free to play around with the parts and tenor I've shown you, and when you're ready to continue, press the red button in the upper right to exit. Back to the training menu, try the flight basics tutorial to learn how to fly this little craft, and then the intermediate construction tutorial can teach you more about the editor. Okay. Can I, like, throw you at the bottom? Nope, doesn't work. Leave. Don't. Fine. Save and continue. So if I jump to back. Add-ons and mods, credit settings, graphics. Full screen. Apply. Damn it. That's a damn game. Well, I might have made a mistake. Where the hell is it? Well, I'm gonna have to do a no damn game capture. You know what, let's just do display capture. There we go. Good enough. Go back. Start. Training. Basic flight. I need to close my door. Hi, Eli. Okay, welcome to the Kerbal Space. Okay, welcome to the Kerbal Space Center launch facility. I'm Gene Kerman, and I will teach you the basics of piloting a spacecraft. There's Valentina Kerman. Are all of them related or something? I trust you've already checked the basic construction tutorial. If not, I recommend you do that. So before going through this one, today we will do a run through of all the important controls for your spacecraft. Our little hopper from your basic construction lesson with Werner here may not have all of them, but we'll do a full run through once and see how it flies. Yeah. Flying a spacecraft is all about being in control of a generally very chaotic situation. As a pilot, your main flight control will affect the pitch, yaw, and roll of the ship. Let's look at those first. All of the other controls will be locked until they're needed or this tutorial is closed. Pitch, yaw, and roll are the three directions you will rotate your craft. To help you visualize these, we've taken a holiday snap of the hopper below. Pitch, roll, yaw. You control your ship's rotation using 3 controls. S and W for pitch and roll. Okay. Like did it? Wait, it's actually rotating. Damn. Anyway, by controlling the pitch, yaw, and roll, you can keep your ship in a controlled flight. Try it now and notice the indicator on the lower side moves. You improve the control. Next. Throttle plus pitch, yaw, roll are the main controls you need to master for a successful crash-free flight. We'll skip over the throttle controls for now, as the vessel is no need for it. Don't worry, I'll explain it another time when it's of use. Remember that all of these controls have a limited amount of effectiveness, so bigger, heavier ships will probably respond much more sluggish to the controls than a little small one. It's also good to keep in mind that as stages are separated from the ship, it will become lighter, and this will usually mean easier to control. Alright. In flight, all the planning you put into the staging sequence of your ship comes into play. From launch to the final deployment of the descent parachute, you can control the activation of several of these ship parts by activating stages. Notice the stage indicator in the lower left corner. It shows the current active stage since we haven't launched yet. It shows the first stage as active. I have your staging controls locked for now so that the stage indicator is glowing purple. Yep, I cannot launch the ship prematurely. One more thing on staging, if the staging setup is causing strife or you change your mind about something, you can edit the stage sequence on the fly, pun intended. No need to go back to the assembly facility. An important part of flying is knowing how your ship is orientated and where it's going. That's why a good pilot is always aware of the ship's altitude, where it is pointing, and its velocity vector, where it is going. These aren't always the same direction, and as your skills improve, you should pick up on these. The big round instruments on the lower center of the screen is called the nav ball. This device sums up most of the critical information needed for a proper death-free flight. Here you see the ship's nose in the relation to the horizontal when you're not pointing straight up. It's easily visible as a line between blue sky and the brown ground, as well as its head, compass, bearing, and speed. You also get several icons that indicate things like your current velocity vector, but we'll have a look at those later. In the top center part of the screen, you have your altimeter, vertical speed indicator, and atmospheric gauge. The altimeter will show the distance to the planet's surface at sea level. This means the actual surface may be much closer, so watch out for the ground when landing. Your vertical speed indicator shows how quickly your altitude is changing when launching. It's considered best to keep this gauge pointing up. The atmospheric gauge indicates how deep the ship is in the planet's atmosphere. This helps you know if the ship is high enough for orbiting without losing speed to air resistance, or judge how effective wings and control surface will be. Parachute indicator. One last thing before we give the rocket the green light. In the staging stack, you can see the indicator for your parachute. This indicator shows when the chute will be activated by staging. You already know that, but the background will also change color to indicate when it is safe to stage the parachute, and the foreground, the parachute bit of the icon itself, will change color depending on the parachute status. Note, however, that by default parachutes will not deploy when unsafe, even if you stage them. The left three show safety, safe, risky, and unsafe to deploy. The chute is unstaged, white, in the left three. The right shows state after staging, armed, deployed, and cut shredded. So shredded. When you are familiar with chute icons color, we can move on. Okay, enough talk. I'll unlock the flight controls and you'll be clear to launch. At any time, you may press escape to pause the game. In the pause menu, you can restart the flight or end this tutorial and return to the main menu. For now, get yourself prepared and hit space when ready for launch. Don't forget, our hopper has only a solid rocket motor, so there is no throttle controls. That's why we didn't review the throttle here. Make sure to fly in a nice high arc and enjoy the flight. Wait, so am I getting out of atmosphere? We're in outer atmosphere. Whoop, we're going down. Let's go. Now you're passing the highest point of your flight. Your speed is low enough that it's safe to stage again. Deploy parachutes. Do so now before your speed up again. Sure. And now we sit back and enjoy the descent. Try and get it. No. Want to try to land it properly. Nope, I can't change it. Gonna hit the ground like this. And I don't think we are anywhere near our beginning area. Nope, we're actually quite far away from where we launched. Neat. Can I cut it? Nope. Let's see what happens. She lived! Well done, you've survived your first quick flight. Well, when... Yep, they lived. Yep. Okay, well done. You've survived your first quick flight. When you land or splash a camera or not in training, you can point the mouse just above the altimeter, click to record a button and a parachute slider. I've also unlocked the crew hatch, so if you feel like going out for a walk or swim, you can click either extra vehicle activity button that will pop up when you mouse over the portrait of the kerbal you want to take for a walk. You can do it just for fun or to collect a surface sample. This concludes today's lesson. To exit training, either. Wait, so where's the kerbal? So where's the space program? Oh. Okay, so EVA. Oh well. How fast can kerbals go? 2.1 meters a second. Kerbals are not very fast. Pilot is a 1, 2, 3, 4. 5-star pilot. That's neat. Man, kerbals have big heads. Wait, so I can jump. Oh well, let's end scenario. Next up, training. Intermediate construction. Probably should have done these tutorials off stream, but meh. Hello, glad you could come back. To get started, go ahead and enter the VAB, and I'll give you the overview of what we're going to build today. There we go. Here we go again, now to business. If you remember, in our last construction tutorial, we covered how to build a simple popper. We'll expand your knowledge of some of the more useful features in the VAB, and we'll build a more complex craft that will be able to get us to the outer atmosphere. Build our new design. Let's start with the crafts we built in the basic constructor tutorial. Through this one just called the hopper. This will save us a little bit of time, and the accounting department is always happy when we save on time. Click on the open button in the top right corner and load hopper. Open button, top right corner, and load hopper, then remove its flea motor. If you mess up, we can recreate the craft from the part list. First parachute. If you delete the craft file, next. Unlike last time, we won't be bringing the whole vessel back, so we can change our parachute status from what we used before. Right click on the parachute and verify that its deployment altitude is set to, yep. And set to 75. So set to max. So that corresponds to an altitude on kerbal of about 2 kilometers and means a much shorter time hanging around during descent. First off, let's change the name of our craft and the description if you want so. The coffin. I believe that is a satisfactory name. Great, for this craft we are going to give the ship some additional purpose by attaching a science experiment. We can run these experiments during our travels and get valuable science data for kerbal kind. These are a number of science experiments to be performed, but at the moment we only have the mystery goo containment unit available, which to the science tab. Science tab, this one of the most basic science experiments in kerbal science. I've decided that one of the first things you want to try and understand better. I mean, they don't even know what color the goo is. When you pick up the part, you will see that it is designated to attach to the side of other parts, LE rotationally. If we attach only one of these, then during flight our craft will be unbalanced. One way to solve this is to add an extra goo container on the opposite side of the rocket so they balance. Luckily we have a symmetry tool to help here. These buttons control symmetry, highlight and angle snap, and can be found in the lower left of your screen. Press the symmetry button or click X key to cycle through the available symmetry modes. Okay. Visit the times 2 and then pick up the mysterious goo container on the side of the pod near the top. You will notice there's a second one has been placed opposite of the first by the symmetry tool. If you had already placed a goo container, pick it up, make sure the symmetry... Okay. So let's just throw it here. There we go, mystery goo. Decoupling parts. If we add too many more parts here, the craft we are making will be too heavy to survive re-entry safely. Heavy to be too slow to parachute. To add a decoupler below the pad. Decouplers can be found in the coupling tab and will let us split the craft when we no longer need the lower part. We won't be able to recover the discarded part, but at least our craft and our kerbal will survive re-entry and landing. Cargo, utility, thermal ground, payload, coupler. Coupler can be used in many ways, but for now let's just add one of these bottom of the card. Go to grab the D, place it. Note that stacked couplers have arrows. Next. Well done. You'll recall, I hope, that in the previous tutorial we had to adjust the staging stack when we added the engine to our earlier rocket. Add some fuel tanks. Okay. This time we are going to use a liquid propellant rocket engine. Unlike solid rocket motors, these engines don't carry their own propellants with them, so we need to add some fuel tanks. Go to the fuel tank tab. We are still using these earlier parts, so there are only the engine. We are going to need 5 of these tanks to get us to space before you grab 5 tanks from the part box. So let me give you another tip, because efficiency is my middle name. It goes right after Von. Once you place the first tank on the rocket, you can duplicate that by holding the left Alt key and click on the tank. You can do it at the bottom of the tank. Okay, let's go to fuel. 1, 2, 3, 4. And another one. Okay. You're going to go to space at a heat shield. Okay. Yeah, I'm just doing the tutorial at the moment. Good. Switch over to the engine tab now. The swivel engine you see here is obviously different from the flea we used before. This is a liquid engine and it needs and burns both liquid fuel and oxidizer. Funnily enough, that's what we just added to the rocket. Attached to the bottom of the rocket. On the staging stack to see if it changed. Okay. We are almost there, and you've done fine. Maybe not as speedily as some of my caliber though. The last thing we're going to need to do is give the rocket a little better stability so it keeps going the way we want it to go. We will achieve this by adding some fins near the bottom of the rocket. Fins can be found in the aerodynamics tab. So you can turn on angled snap by clicking to the next symmetry icon. Ah, neat. Do 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 do. Excellent, we've now got a rocket that is let us reach stars. I'm ready to reach with the basic rocket. You've all been born through about a minute. We've done a great job in building a base of copper and a suborbital capital rocket. Hopefully we've learned a few things. Feel free to hang around. Okay, done. Oh, it's just fully unlocked now. I have no idea what I just added. And let's do one more tutorial, because after that I'm unfortunately have to end the stream early. Okay. Suborbital flight. Learn how to escape kerbal. Start. Hello again, glad you could make it back. Today we will be taking an exciting step, getting our first kerbal into space. Capital S. And it's Jebediah Kerman. Hopefully you remember the controls we discussed. Escape and click. You're going to get started next. Your mission today is to take a short suborbital less than orbital flight out over the water to the east. It's a nice arching path that ensures a gentle survivable re-entry. Yeah, Jebediah is dying. Down, not so good for survival. I've set up the pink target indicator on the nav ball. Yep. Nav ball as aim point, but do note that this is not the case for normal missions. The target market is normally used for only things. It does not help with archers, starting with the nose point straight up. Not about a 9-degree elevation from the tilt east to a we'll have a bit more time to discuss some other things. Next. Okay, unlike the Hopper, in our first lesson, this new craft has liquid fuel engines. This means we can use the throttle to set the output power of the ship's engines. Throttle is controlled by the following key: shift throttle up, left control down, throttle max, cut. Try these out. Try these out, you'll see the indicator needs slide up and down along the graph. Oh, next. SAS stands for Stability Augment System, although Kerbal astronauts usually refer to this as Sickness Avoidance Scheme. Whenever it stands for, what it does is try to stop the ship from spinning around using a computer-controlled auto torque drive. SAS can be activated or deactivated if on, momentarily by holding down F key and toggled by pressing T. If you have problems following the maneuver once you enable liftoff, you can click the small button to the left. Next. Launch preparations. This craft has a bit too much engine, so we're going to throttle down for launch. Set your throttle to 3 out of 2. The upper or the middle notches of the slider. Also turn on SAS. It will keep you pointed where you want to point. And throttle down to here. Detailed info. Press escape to pause if necessary. During this mission, some of the information is quite detailed and could take a while to read, as this is a short suborbital hop and I don't want you to miss anything important. I will place a warning at the top of the page where you might want to pause the game to read. Warning looks like this. Okay, enough talk. I'll lock the rest of the flight controls anytime. There we go. And we're off. Now there's time to start turning. Follow the target marker. Looks good. Now let's turn a little more. Excellent work. We've got the rocket just where we need it to be in order to reach space. You should be able to let SAS keep the craft steady for a while as we accelerate further. Now go ahead and throttle up to full power. We're really cooking along now. Okay, great work. You've succeeded in getting your ship on a trajectory bound for space. I've now set your target indicator to align with the velocity vector that will minimize drag by turning smallest side of the vessel into the airflow. Somewhere around here you will see the navigable speed indicator auto switch from surface to orbit, accompanied by the speed number jumping. Go ahead and switch it back to the surface mode by clicking on the unit. It says surface again. You might have noticed some flickering flames near the end of our burn there, which is due to the high speed of the craft in the atmosphere. Normally our ascent would be a little slower, but I'm sure my friend Werner has helped you build a ship that can withstand the heat. And besides, this high and this slow, you'll be fine. If you want to have a look at the trajectory, M key to look at the trajectory path. Remember the flight mode again. Huh. Desert airfield. Warner launch site. That's neat. G'day, welcome to the stream, asteroid. Now that we are coasting our way to... wait, I need to move a bit. The highest point of the current projectile path. We've got a little time to chat. Once you clear the atmosphere, we'll go where you can go over what you can do in space. Neat. Yeah, it's not going any higher. G-force is apparently just below something. So we are almost at orbit. In orbit, I think. Redo our trajectory. While we float up here beyond the atmosphere, I'll quickly tell you about a couple of things you can do. With an advanced enough astronaut complex in the KSB, we can train our kerbals to be able to spacewalk, or EVA. Although we won't be doing that on this flight. Also, when we are carrying science devices like our goo containers, we can perform experiments. Feel free to play with the goo containers now by right-clicking on them. I'll let you know when it's time for the next phase of suborbital flight. Crew hatch. What? Wait, no, I'm trying to click on the go. Observe mysterious glue. Warning. As we're near the edge of the atmosphere again, it's time to reorientate the pod to get ready for re-entry. We're only going to re-enter with the pod and chute and goo canisters, but we're not going to decouple yet. In real missions, it's best to keep your upper stage around until the last moment. You never know when you might need it. Anyway, it's best to re-enter bottom first, and since we ascended at 70 degrees pitch, you'll naturally re-enter at about negative 70 pitch. That means you want to aim the bottom of the capsule at the 70-degree pitch line, but the opposite heading. This is at the heading 270 on the naval ball. And I'll place a target marker to help you in line. Turn the SAS off, change the altitude, and keep turning again. Okay. Nice. Now hold steady for the next stage. Wait, how do I get out of the go? There we go. So I'll get ready to do the couple stage and start re-entry. Oh yeah, I'm aware. I don't know how to. Yeah. Wait. Oh. Stage is to discover another parts of mass. Here we go. Click the green thingy. Yeah, I can't really fix the cutoff. Wait, nah, I can. There we go. Shouldn't be cut off anymore. Okay, we are now re-entering kerbal atmosphere. Make sure to keep all hands and feet inside the pod at all times. We don't want you getting burnt or anything. Don't mind the flames. Werner is a famous rocket scientist after all, and he's built this ship to withstand them. Last time we watched the parachute icon to wait for the right time to open the chute. This time we are going to do something a little different. Remember to, in the construction where you design this vessel, you set the chute to not open, to not semi-deploy until of pressure. That means the chute won't perform the first of its deployment steps until then, even if you activate it by staging now on kerbal. Altitude above sea level at the craft should be traveling slowly enough by then that the chute will survive deployment. So let's take the bold step of arming the chute now and let the smarts in there pop it at the right altitude. Can trust me. Stage and shoot now by pressing space. There's a very specific angle where you can re-enter without a heat shield, but it's way too risky. Okay. Awesome. So while we set your shoot to not actually semi-deploy until around, we do look out for you at mission control. We do need to ensure that the opening height is second for deployment step is correct. You can even adjust the parameter and flight. Don't touch the pressure slider or bad things will happen. And make sure the full deploy altitude is not less than or enough time to slow down. Once you're satisfied, just hang on until about and watch the parachute trigger itself according to the settings chosen. While we're waiting, I want you to look at the bottom of the capsule. Note that you do not have a heat shield. You don't need one because this is such a gentle flight. Actually, a heat shield would make things more dangerous on the craft because the additional mass would be pushing the limits of the model of parachute. Okay. So we're just going down. Alright, come on. I just want to line up with that green one. You know what? Let's have some fun. And apparently this is not a lot of G-force. I would assume that this would be a large amount. Wait, this will explode me? Okay, I'll try and calm it down then. If you spin too fast, you are prone to accidentally explode. Good to know. Good to know. Okay. I will try not to go to 4th warp speed. Times warp. Also, if you play this later or tomorrow. I am going to play this again tomorrow. I just didn't really have a lot of time to stream, so yeah, I'm probably going to finish the tutorial off stream a bit before I start streaming tomorrow, so that way I can jump straight into the game and stream that. Damn it! Wait, no. Can I? Damn it, they won't let me. Institute is always enjoy a leisurely float down to the surface. Yep, a leisurely float. I'm definitely not gonna cut the parachute. Damn it. I don't remember how to cut the parachute. How do I? Like silence mode. Yeah. No, I can't alter anything. Can go active SAS and face retrograph the opposite direction of which you're falling. Okay. Won't let me. And we hit the water. Welcome back, and congratulations on completing and even surviving your first real mission. You managed to launch control your vessel into space, orientated yourself correctly, and landed safely. That's quite an achievement. If you want to practice this again, choose revert to launch from the pause menu, otherwise end scenario, and be sure to check out the other tutorials. Orbit. Okay. Let's go for a swim. Damn, he is not a fast swimmer at all. Creepy. Okay, yeah, probably not a smart idea to go... Wait, I don't even know where he is now. I've legitimately lost him. Well, that's neat. And he was never found again. Well, thank you all for coming. I'm unfortunately gonna have to end the stream now. I will be streaming this game again tomorrow. I will probably finish... Once I'm able to jump back onto my computer, I will try to finish the tutorial before I stream again. Thank you all for coming, and I hope to see you all tomorrow for me actually playing the game instead of playing a bit of tutorial. I will also be streaming for a lot longer tomorrow. Goodbye.